Welcome back to the Career Dive Podcast. I'm your host, Anna Believa, a career coach and a LinkedIn learning instructor. My friend, it's 2025. It's the new year, which means that I know that a lot of you are setting your goals and setting your career goals. And 2025 is the year you're going to land your dream six-figure opportunity. I know it, I can feel it. And in this episode, I'll be breaking down the 4 steps to how exactly you're going to do it. Now, to go to that next level in your income, in your seniority, in your responsibility, in how much you actually enjoy what you do, what has worked for you before is not going to work now. You need a different strategy. You need next level strategy. So, something I want for you to keep in mind is that the job market is shifting and has been shifting for the last couple of years. AI has flooded the market with resumes. And for you now to stand out, it really goes back to the human side of you. It goes back to what people know about you, so your personal brand. It goes back to who knows you, so it goes back to your network. It goes back to how you show up, what you say, how you say it. So it goes back to your mindset and it goes back to how you actually present yourself. So that's exactly what we will be breaking down in this episode. Are you ready, my friend? Let's dive into it. All right. The first step for you, my friend, is to start showing up as that next level candidate. What do I mean by that? Well, think about it this way. If you're going for a next level opportunity, if you're looking for a six-figure next level type of role, you need to show up different. And if right now, every time something doesn't go your way, so let's say you apply for an opportunity that seems like a perfect fit, but then you get rejected, or you go for an interview and you don't get an offer, and you start spiraling, and that takes you out for a week, for a few weeks, then you're not ready for that opportunity. Because when you are that next level six-figure role, things will be going not your way. Maybe it's projects, clients, team. If you're spiraling every single time something doesn't go your way, then you're not ready for that role. So that means that you need to work on your mindset. You need to work on the way you think, the way you act, the way you feel, even. So here's what I mean by that. I want for you to ask yourself, when you're thinking of this next level role that you're looking for, how would someone in this role think? How would they act? How would they show up? They probably would be more confident. They probably would be bolder. They probably wouldn't be scared to do something new and different. They probably would have the tools to not spiral every single time they face adversity. Every single time there is any sort of quote unquote failure. Instead, this next level VP, executive, senior manager would think, okay, well, this didn't go our way. That's a data point. What can we learn from this? How can we apply what we learn into our future steps? That's how you have to start thinking about your career and your strategy as well. In order to land the next level role, you need to be that person already. Because when you are, you will show up different. You will speak about yourself and in interviews differently. Employers will see that, they will feel that. So you don't have to convince them anymore. They see you in that role immediately. So here's what I want for you to start asking yourself every single day as you're job searching, as things happen or don't happen. And you start thinking unhelpful thoughts. Well, would this ever work out? Am I ready? Oh, all of this sucks. I want for you to every single time ask yourself, what would someone in this next level role, six-figure role, do right now? What would they think? Would they be thinking these thoughts? What actions would they be taking instead? I can't stress enough how important this step is because nothing else, all of your strategy and actions that you actually take, if they're not supported by this next level version of yourself, then you're simply not ready. So this mindset work, this confidence work has to come first. All right, let's talk about step number 2. And You probably already know, if you've been in my world, that the next step after mindset is to get clear on what is it that you're after. Because here is what 99% of people do when they're job searching. They think, okay, well, I'm ready for my new role. Let me open LinkedIn. Let's go into jobs and see what's posted. And then you scroll and you're like, yeah, well, this seems kind of interesting. Oh, well, I guess I can do this. Oh, well, okay, I guess this would be something I can enjoy. Let me apply. So you only pursue opportunities that you happen to see. No wonder most people don't actually enjoy what they do. Or maybe you get headhunted and those are the roles that you have traditionally taken. And again, they seemed okay. They paid a little bit more than what you're paid right now, and you just took them. Again, deep down, knowing that it's not really the job that I actually would want to do, but it's okay. It came my way, and I'll just take it. And again, that's why most of us are unhappy in our careers. So instead, my friend, you need to what I call flip the script. You need to figure out what is it that you want, what is the right fit for you. And then you need to go and get it. And the next step will be us talking about how to actually get it. But how do you figure out what is it that you want? Well, you need to build what I called a dream job prototype. You need to first look inward. You need to figure out what is it that you enjoy doing right now, what tasks you actually enjoy doing in your role right now or in your past roles, what skills you have and you actually, again, enjoy using on a daily basis. What's important to you? What do you believe in? What do you want for your life to look like in the next 3 years, 5 years? What gives you energy? Is it being at home by yourself and working on projects, or is it being out with people? Or is it a combination of the two? So you need to quite literally design your dream job description. And that's something that we do with my clients in the Start Canada program step by step. But the thing is, a lot of people stop here, but not my clients, because just designing this dream job is not enough. You need to now go out in the world and validate this prototype. If you're an engineer or if you've ever looked into design thinking, you know this idea of validating the prototype that you have built. Because again, so far, you only have looked at what is it that you want, what is it that you enjoy. But now we need to get in front of the real people in real companies, in real jobs, and ask them about their days, their bosses, their projects, their clients to understand what does it actually look like in real life. What they do, does it match the prototype, or at least most of the prototype, the most important parts of your prototype that you have designed for yourself? Because oftentimes people come to me and say, okay, this is exactly what I want to do. I say, okay, sounds good. Let's talk to those people. Let's talk to people working at those companies that you believe are the right fit for you. And then 3 weeks later, they come back to me after talking to 3, 5 people in those teams and those companies, and they tell me, I'm so happy I did that because that's just not what I want to do. In fact, I have a new client in the Start Canada program. Her name is Nada. And when she joined, she said, I am strongly considering management consulting. And we said, okay, let's talk to different types of management consulting firms. And within a month, she came back saying, okay, I talked to a couple of people, one at BCG, one at this other company, and I realized, you know what? They don't have any work-life balance, and this is just really not for me. Imagine how much time she has saved, how much heartache she saved for herself instead of going after those roles, lending them, and then within 2 months realizing that she made a mistake. So you have to validate this prototype. And again, inside the Start Canada program, I teach you exactly how to do that so you're crystal clear on what you're looking for. Now, I also want for you to know that just saying, I want a marketing manager role at a bank is not specific enough. It's a really good start, and you're already ahead of the curve because a lot of people don't even have that clarity. But you need to, again, building your dream job prototype means that you're getting a lot more specific. What type of manager are you looking for? Because there are different teams within banks and there's different marketing teams within banks. What would be the right fit for you? The kind of manager, the kind of projects, the kind of team, the kind of work environment. You need to get crystal clear on all of that. So your job here is to build your dream job prototype, to then validate it. So you're sure you did your due diligence that this is the right fit for me. So you're starting job search. You haven't started job searching yet. You're starting job search and proactive job search with a list of 3 to 5 target companies and specific teams with those companies that you know are right for you. So the whole job search experience becomes so much easier because you're now not distracted by all of this random stuff that you see on LinkedIn, number one. Number two, your whole brand, you're now positioning towards those specific teams and companies. So your resume, your LinkedIn profile, and your content on LinkedIn, your networking outreach, your interview stories, everything is positioned for those very specific roles and teams and companies. So it's a lot easier for you to be seen as the perfect fit for those roles. So you will go a lot faster in your job search. At the same time, because you have done this work, you decided what's right for you, then you validated that. By landing those roles, you're actually setting yourself up for success to actually enjoy those roles now, because again, it's based on the skills that you enjoy using, the tasks that you enjoy doing, the environment that gives you energy. So you will actually thrive in that role and you will grow in that role a lot faster because you actually enjoy it. And again, if there are tons of questions popping up for you, okay, but how do I actually do this? I need guidance. I got you. We do that inside the Start Canada coaching program with my clients step by step. All right, let's move on to step number 3. So now that you're acting and showing up as this next level version of yourself, and now that you got crystal clear on the specific teams and roles and companies that you're after, now you need to market yourself proactively to those companies and teams and hiring managers. Now, marketing yourself proactively happens in 2 steps. So step number 1 is elevating your personal brand. So what is a personal brand? A personal brand is what people talk about and know about you and say about you when you're not in the room. So when you're not there to tell the employer your interview stories, but they just find you online, or someone says something about you to your future employer, what do they say? Which is why this previous step of getting crystal clear and then positioning yourself becomes so important, because now you know what is it that you need to be highlighting in your personal brand to land this next opportunity. And your personal brand is not about what you have done before, because that's the mistake that a lot of people make. Their LinkedIn is all about what they have done, which is great. That shows that you are, a superstar at what you have done before, but it doesn't tell me what is it that you actually want to do next. In fact, I want to offer you that it needs to be crystal clear to me within 3 seconds of me landing on your LinkedIn profile. What is it that you want to do next? So if you're in one industry or function right now and you're thinking of shifting or pivoting careers, and your entire profile is about this previous function or industry that you're in, or current rather, how would I know that you want to pivot? And then even if you tell me that you want to pivot, now I need to do the work as the employer of understanding that you have what it takes to pivot. You have the skills and the experience needed to do this next level role. So here's the thought for you. I bet people that you work with on a daily basis, so whether it's your coworkers or your manager, don't know everything that you do, right? They know a lot of what you do, but they don't know everything that you deal with on a daily basis. And they don't necessarily know how amazing you are at everything that you do, because you get amazing feedback from a customer or from a client, and maybe you share it, but often you don't. I guarantee that people that, again, you work closely with don't know everything that they should actually know about what you do, how you do it, and how great you are at it. Now, take it a step further. People who don't work with you on a daily basis, so let's say your future employer, they don't know 10% of that, because all they have to work with is maybe your LinkedIn profile, maybe your resume, and maybe a few things that someone told them about you. So by building your brand online proactively and strategically, you get to control that narrative. And building your brand is not just creating your profile on LinkedIn, but in 2025, it also means posting on LinkedIn. I know, but this is how you get to control that narrative around your personal brand. And again, I'll do another episode where we dive into what this actually means and how to do it and how not to let that take over your life and feel like it's another job that you now have, but how to do it strategically, what to write about, how to write about it. And it's also now what I teach to my client. We have launched a brand new program, LinkedIn Authority Builder, at the end of 2024. It was only open to our existing clients. In 2025, I will be opening it up to everyone. But what I want for you to take away is that in 2025, with AI, the market is just so busy. AI allows you to apply for 100,000 jobs a freaking day. So just having a resume or a profile on LinkedIn is simply not enough. If you want a dream opportunity, if you want to go to that next level, if you want a six-figure dream opportunity, you have to take the steps that that authority, that leader that you want to be, that someone in that next level role would take. And that does mean crafting your brand online and starting to post content. Now, the second part of proactive job search is, of course, building your network. If you have been around the career diet and my world for some time, you know that I talk about this every single day, all the time, that the number one way you're going to be landing interviews is through building your network, meaning getting proactively and strategically in front of the decision makers at those target companies that you identify in step 2. Here's the thing with AI, relationship building and soft skills become so much more important. I've talked about this before that typically employers start by looking at who they know already. They ask the team, do you know someone who can be a good fit? They look at their own network. They ask their network, okay, is there someone who you know who can be a good fit for this role? And that's what we did when I was hiring for the top employers in the country. We would always start with, who do we know already? Then we would go to our previous hires for similar roles and ask them if they know someone, because chances are they do if they're coming from a similar role. So they would know people in similar roles. Then we would go out and proactively look for people on LinkedIn, which is where your brand becomes so important, because you need to be visible and you need to be easy for recruiters and employers to find. And only then we would go out and post the job. So employers actually prefer to hire people who come recommended, or people who proactively reach out to them and build a relationship with them. Because when you do that, you show the employer that I don't just want to work anywhere. I want to work here. And they already know you and like you. Of course, they want to start with you before they start interviewing strangers. But again, now with AI, this is becoming even a more important skill to build. Now, I want to be very clear here that I don't want for you to be spending time reaching out to recruiters, because recruiters are trained to look for the safest and easiest hire. And by default, it's someone who has done this job before, because that person doesn't need to be sold to the hiring manager. It's very clear that they can do this job. So if you're going for any sort of change, seniority, location, function, industry, go for the hiring manager, go for the decision maker, go for executives who, again, have that power to talk to the hiring manager, to introduce you to the hiring manager, so that you have those connections, they know you, and you can start landing interviews without applying. In fact, one of my clients in the Start Canada program, Anne-Sophie, just this week told us that she has 3 interviews this week. And again, it's first week of January. So she has booked this over the holidays. And she said that 2 of those interviews came through her reaching out to the hiring managers directly. And I have honestly hundreds and hundreds of stories like that. It's no longer just about the hidden job market. It's about you standing out in the era of AI and you showing that it's not just for me to get the job. But once I get the job, I will be that person who has that skill, who has that networking skill that you will be using for clients, for internal networking, because again, that will be the number one skill that will also get you promoted. And relationship building, you cannot outsource to AI. You need the skill. And once again, I know I sound like a broken record, but it's the number one way you're going to be landing interviews in 2025. In fact, please don't spend hours and hours applying for jobs online. Someone we talked to this week told us that he spends 6 hours every single week applying for jobs online. That's 36 hours a month. That's almost a full work week. That is insane. And in the last year, he's only had a handful of interviews and none of them led to offers. And the more senior you are, again, if you're going for that 6-figure job, you have to have the skill of relationship building. This is no longer negotiable at that level in 2025. And again, if it feels like you're not sure how to do it strategically, maybe you've tried and it didn't work before, or maybe you have had some introductions and some networking meetings, but that didn't lead to interviews, I am telling you, this is learnable. This is something that I'm really good at. And I have taught hundreds of people exactly how to do that. And that's what we dive really deep inside the Start Canada program. And in fact, every single week when we have our coaching session, we often talk about what's going on with everyone and what networking conversations and scenarios they're having so that we can, again, tweak them and they're really learning the skill and not just getting the templates. And by the way, I've seen people, share networking templates online. It's just not enough. A template is not a skill. A template is not going to teach you what to do when you are in that conversation. When someone says this, what are you going to do? How are you going to strategically push them or direct them to mention a specific name? And then from there, how are you going to turn that into a referral? There is a lot of nuance and strategy to it. It's a skill, but again, it's learnable. And something that I have seen with my clients is they come in and they're not sure how to do it. And maybe they're a little bit nervous about it. But once they're in it and once they see what it can do for you and what it does for them very, very quickly, they get addicted to it. And they all tell me now, I just want to network all the time. Once they get the role, they tell me, I'm just going to keep up with this because this is just incredible. Once again, you have to learn the skill. All right, my friend. So the final step here is to land the role. So by building your brand online, by building your network is how you're going to be landing interviews for those dream 6-figure opportunities in 2025. Now, a lot of people tell me that all they need is to get the interview. Once they're in an interview, they got it. But then they come back a few months later and say, hey, I have had one interview, but that did not lead to an offer. In fact, that did not go well at all because landing the interview is half the battle. Quite literally, everything that we have talked about, you landing that dream interview, that's half the battle because now you need to turn it into an offer. And think about it this way. Employer spends a couple of hours with you, interviewing you. And now they need to make a decision to invest $100,000 in you, $200,000 in you. That's a big investment. And that's a year, not just one-time investment. That's a big investment in someone after you've only spent 2 hours with them, maybe 3. That's a big one-time sale, my friend. So it's not something that you can do, especially at that next 6-figure dream level, just by, hey, I'm going to wing it, or I'm good at talking to people. It's not enough. And what I have found tends to happen here is you're coming in, you know that you're good at what you do, that you have the skills, you know that you can do the job, but then you don't get the job and you're frustrated. And the reality is there is a difference between having the skills for the job and being able to do the job well. And if you're progressing beyond the first round, the employer knows you can do the job. They just don't think you're a really good fit. They don't really believe that you can do this job really well. Again, there are other scenarios there, but that's typically what tends to happen there. Because again, there's a difference between knowing how to do the job and actually selling yourself, marketing yourself, presenting yourself for that job, presenting yourself as a no-brainer choice for that role. So what you need to learn how to do, it's actually quite simple, but pretty much no one knows how to do that because no one was taught how to do it. We were just Googling, how to answer the ABC question online, and that's not enough. Maybe it was enough when you were first starting out in your career, but it's no longer enough when you are at that six-figure level. So what you need to learn how to do is connect the dots. Meaning, you need to be very clear on what is it that is important for the employer for this role. What is it that they're truly looking for? What problems do they truly have that they want for this person that that they're hiring for? What they want for this person to solve? And this is where your networking becomes so important because just reading the job description, my friend, is not enough. I'm sure you have seen those very generic job descriptions that describe no one. And I used to sit down with the hiring manager and really ask them, listen, this is a very generic job description that you gave me, that I can't actually find a good candidate for you. You need to tell me more. And that's what will happen with you with networking. When you're meeting people on the team, when you're meeting the hiring manager, before you're interviewing, you get to know exactly what's going on, what projects they're working on, what challenges do they have, what clients do they have or they're trying to get, who do they have on the team, what skills they're lacking on the team, what is the number one thing that they want for this person to solve for them. So when you have this intel, now you can look at your experience, your skills, your examples, what you bring to the table, and you can connect the dots for the employer. You can match what they're looking for to what you are talking about. A lot of people, especially when you're experienced, when you're going for that six-figure role, you tend to really just talk about everything. Hey, I've done this and this, and I'm so amazing. That's great, but that's not really what's relevant to me, the employer. What I really truly care about is those three things that I'm looking for. So once you know what they're looking for, everything that you're talking about, starting from tell me about yourself. So what you choose to highlight in your tell me about yourself, what you talk about why you actually want this role, any example that you share when you talk about your experience, it's not just any example. It's not just everything that you've done. It's not just your previous role. It's specific parts of your previous experience that you're highlighting. And in some cases, it might have been, 10, 20% of your previous role, but that's all you focus on because it's relevant for this next role. So with every example that you share, you are sharing relevant skills and examples, but then you also every single time bring it back to the employer. So you, at the end of everything that you talk about, every single example, you say, and this is what I'm looking to achieve for you in different ways, but you're bringing it back to them so that with every single thing that you say, they just go, whoa, this is incredible. This person just checks all the boxes and brings everything that I'm looking for to the table. Now, if you're listening to this and you're thinking, okay, well, these are some skills that I need to learn, and this is different from anything that I have done. And the answer is, it is. It is. But you are going to that next level. You are going for a six-figure role, my friend. And it's also 2025. So the landscape has changed. And what has worked for you in the past is not going to work for you this year. So if you feel like this sounds amazing, but I need some support and guidance and resources and tools and feedback on implementing all of this, do join us inside the Star Canada program. This is your year. We're going to do this together. I believe in you, my friend. This is it for this episode. I am so excited for 2025. We have new clients join us in the Start Canada program recently, and they're all looking for that next level six-figure role. And I'm so excited for them. I'm so proud of them for being uncomfortable, for trying new strategies, for getting outside of their comfort zone, for investing in themselves. And I'm so excited to see where they take 2025. And I'm so excited for you, even if you're not in one of our programs. I'm so excited to see where you take 2025. As always, keep me posted. Send me a note on Instagram at The Career Diet or on LinkedIn at Anna Beleva. We'll link both in the show notes. I love when you send me messages saying that you have been listening to the podcast. It means the world. And if there's anything specific that you want me to talk about on this podcast, let me know. I will try my best to record an episode for you. All right, that's it for today. I will see you very soon, my friend.